in all my communications, in the frustration that Canadians were feeling, not just around that, but around the pandemic in general, there was a sense that Canadians really stepped up for each other. People went out and got vaccinated to a higher degree than just about any other country. And because of that, we actually had a better and safer pandemic than most people. Yes, we lost far too many people.
Oh, yes, far too many. Heartbreaking.
Better than most of the other countries that we can compare to.
Let's stop there. Substantiate that, please. The two provinces with the highest vaccination. I won't even get into asking him to substantiate that claim. But look, if you haven't eaten breakfast yet, it might be you might be better off than those who did. But let's continue with this.
The fact that there were some people out there who were actively spreading harmful disinformation and misinformation, harmful lies that made people scared that the vaccine was more dangerous than the virus, and families sitting around the bedside of a loved one who was dying from COVID saying, oh my God, I wish he'd just taken the vaccine. I wish he hadn't listened to all those YouTube channels. Like, this is real. There were real tragedies, and there were people trying to gin that up and to expand the divisions and the fear and sense of conspiracy that were out there. We had, as a government, always and will always be extremely patient with people who are hesitant about getting a vaccine or whatever. But those people who were actively putting people's lives in danger by spreading falsehoods around science that will help and heal and save people and save our economy and save lives and save our institutions, those people, and they were a small minority within
a small fringe
larger
holding unacceptable views
who were really vocal. I don't and I won't apologize for calling out people who were harming their fellow Canadians.
The tinfoil hats comment you don't regret.
Well, when someone believes that your government is trying to inject a vaccine in you to control your mind and track you, and there's a microchip in it, that's almost the definition of a government conspiracy theory, that you wear a tinfoil hat to protect your brain from brainwaves.
How about we not take that conspiracy theory, Justin Trudeau, and we just go with the stated fact from your own health officers: 1 in 5,000 risk of myocarditis in young men per dose. How about we just stay with that one? Don't describe the what most people would think not of as conspiracy theories, but just delusional thoughts. Let's set aside the delusional thoughts and just stick with the actual science. Are the people who repeat the statement from Chief Medical Health Officer Kieran Moore from Ontario, 1 in 5,000 per dose for young men for myocarditis, is that disinformation? By the way, the projection in this 2 minutes and 18 seconds of verbal diarrhea is stunning. It's stunning. And I want to walk through it a little bit. And by the way, I had this lined up as today's intro before the news broke of Damar Hamlin. And we'll talk about that later. That's not why I brought this up. This was my intro before I heard about that. Before that even occurred, I set this up yesterday. I was intending to try to go live. Listen to the projection of this pathological gaslighting.
Degree than just about any other country. And because of that, in general, there was a sense that Canadians really stepped up.
Stepped up. Just do the montage of step up. Canadians stepped up. I've got my think tank catchphrase: stepped up, got your back.
Each other. People went out and got vaccinated to a higher degree than just about any other country. And because of that, we actually had a better and safer pandemic than most people. Yes, we lost far too many people, and it was heartbreaking.
Can you imagine? Yes, we lost far too many people, and it was heartbreaking. Yes. But we did far better than other countries that we can compare to. Compare yourself to Florida. Compare yourself to Texas. How much better did you do if you did it all in the moment? And how much better are you doing now for the incidentals that arise from your draconian and unscientific response? And, we lost far too many people. It's heartbreaking. Why did we lose those many people? Because the long-term healthcare facilities didn't have sufficient personal protection equipment. Why? Because we donated it to China back in February 2020. Oh, yes, but we lost far too many. It was very tragic. But we did better without any more specifics. We did better than others. By the way, you're going to hear noise because there's construction going on all day and there's nothing I can do about it.
But we did better than most of the other countries that we can
Better
compare to.
than most. So not better than some. Okay, that statement means nothing.
The fact that there were some people out there who were actively spreading harmful disinformation and misinformation, harmful lies that made people scared that the vaccine.
Let's actually stop it there. The fact that there were people out there spreading harmful lies. Oh, I don't know, like Joe Biden, if you get the jibby jab, you can't transmit it. It acts like a block. Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, saying if you get the jibby jab, you can't spread it. I could go on forever. The fact that there were people out there spreading disinformation and misinformation, and this pathological gaslighter was one of them. Oh, but now he's disinformation that could deter people from running out and jabbing their children.
Vaccine was more dangerous than the virus.
That the vaccine was more dangerous than the virus. What demographic are you talking about, Justin Trudeau? Because that will not be true of a certain demographic, and it will be true of another demographic. Because 1 in 5,000 myocarditis for young men, I believe, based on what I've read and understand from the science, 1 in 5,000 risk of myocarditis from a jab for young men is far greater than the risk of any serious effect from the Rona itself in that same demographic. 80-year-old, double comorbidity, obese, diabetic, that's a different set. Are you saying that this is not true of any demographic? Because that sounds like disinformation and misinformation, Trudy.
And families sitting around the bedside of a loved one who was dying from COVID saying, oh my God, I wish he'd just taken the vaccine. I wish he hadn't listened to all those YouTube channels.
But just so everybody appreciates, I don't react to this as though I think he's even talking about me. I've always been pretty strict in the rule of not providing medical information and certainly not providing disinformation like we've seen in other movies of, clips taken out of context, anecdotes which are in fact factually incorrect. Is Justin Trudeau now going to the deathbed confession of someone dying and the family saying, I just wish they took the vax, when we now know that the vaccine wouldn't have prevented contracting it in the first place and at best might have reduced the severity of certain symptoms, not knowing anything else, by the way, because back in the day, Kieran Moore, Hochul, who are the other ones, come out and say, we haven't been distinguishing between hospitalized with COVID versus hospitalized from COVID. And now Trudy is coming out here and saying, talking about disinformation and misinformation, those families lamenting, had they just gotten the vax, none of this would have happened. That's totally scientific.
This is real. There were real tragedies, and there were people trying to gin that up and to expand the divisions and the fear and sense of.
Can you imagine Justin Trudeau seriously with a straight face talking about ginning up fear and division? Can you imagine it? The lack of insight. And we're going to get to so much lack of insight in the context of this stream. Let's just finish this up.
Conspiracy that were out there. We had, as a government, always and will always be extremely patient with people who are hesitant about getting a vaccine or whatever. But
we'll be patient with people who are hesitant. We won't be patient with others. Listen to what that suggests. We will always be patient with people who we think are good people of pristine intentions. People who are legitimately scared. We'll always be patient with them. Others, we won't be so patient with.
People who were actively putting people's lives in danger by spreading falsehoods around science that will help and heal. And
oh, you mean like safe and effective, except for that small risk, according to Kieran Moore, 1 in 5,000 per dose. Safe and effective, although doesn't prevent contracting, carrying, or transmitting the virus. Safe, even though they are only now, Pfizer and Moderna, conducting trials as to the incident rate of myocarditis. And this guy is accusing other people of spreading disinformation, misinformation that might harm people.
And save people and save our economy and save lives.
Our economy. Save our economy. Getting vaccinated will save our economy. It's very scientific.
Our institutions. those people, and they were a small minority within the larger anti-movements who were really vocal. I don't and I won't
Okay, we're done.
apologize for.
Don't and won't apologize. Tyrants never do, because tyrants are never wrong. They're never wrong in the science, even when they are. They were just trusting the science at the time. They were never wrong for compelling people to do things against their will with their own bodies that might have had very serious impacts, potentially, just, 1 in 5,000. Minor, mild myocarditis. It goes away. You're going to hear noise. So let's just, that's the intro. Sorry, people. It's disgusting, and that's a drill, I think. We're going to have to deal with this noise all day, all stream. But it was that or no stream, because I have yet to build out the studio. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this year, because that was one of my New Year's resolutions. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first stream of 2023. Unless you follow Robert and myself in locals, in which case you saw a live airport stream and other stuff. Happy New Year. Nothing but health and happiness in the new year, and noise. Health, happiness, and noise.